And so it's something that's out there, and it's something that models are using. So it's nice to create a product, one that's useful for yourself, but then also useful for the people in the industry that you surround yourself with.
So it looks like your app has just been updated just a couple weeks ago. It looks like you put out version 1.5.
Yeah.
That's great. And does someone take this app and like, oh, I'm a model, and let me pull out my iPad and I'll show you my portfolio?
Yes. Oh, I carry my portfolio around.
Okay, so now she's on Skype here, so she's pulling out her portfolio immediately. This is awesome. So can you then share it with someone? Could I?
Yes.
Like, let's say you meet someone on a train and this is a scout.
Yes.
You can share your portfolio to them?
As long as you have internet access, if you have 3G network or Wi-Fi, then yes, you can enter their email address and it'll send it right to them. And they can even open it up in the app. So if they have the app on their device, or if they download the app for free on the Apple App Store, then they can view your portfolio in its original format with the custom table background, the custom book color, the custom logo, and everything that you've designed for yourself.
Where did you get all the assets? It seems like it's a very polished app. You've got textures and backgrounds and all sorts of stuff. Did you find a texture pack, or how did you pull it off?
Like stock images. And I edited them to fit the portfolio books, and most of the books are various colors, so I created a lot of those graphics too.
That's cool. And is that something that you find yourself always selling, that in the sense of like you see like a model or a friend with an iPad, you're like, hey, did you know that you can run your portfolio?
Sometimes, but rarely. For the most part, they see me with the app and we're like, wait, oh, that looks cool. Where did you get that from? So I'll tell them then.
Do you think that that's one of the unifying traits of nerds, though, the idea that there's a problem and I have the power to build something to fix it?
Well, that's definitely the thing that I love about programming. So maybe.
I've always felt that as a builder, like a programmer is a builder, and how can you not see a problem of some kind and not want to write something or make something or create something that is utilitarian, some utility to, like you clearly saw a problem and you want to solve this problem. And I think that I call that one of the unifying traits of nerds. And I've decided to own that word, like that they can't hurt me with the word anymore. The idea of a nerd.
They can't push you into the lockers with the word anymore.
No, they can't. Did you think about yourself as a nerd? Does that word have meaning to you?
No, I didn't really think of myself as a nerd growing up. It's just everyone else called me a nerd growing up. But now that I'm older and wiser, it doesn't hurt me so much anymore either.
Yeah. There's definitely been, I think, a move as the internet, like as someone who was on the internet before the internet was cool. I mean, I don't know about you, but I mean, I was on, AOL and all this kind of like, I was online before people were online. And, that it's almost like when you have a band that no one's ever heard of, but you've heard of, and then everyone gets on that band and you're like, oh, but I knew about them before. I feel like that about the internet. Like everyone's talking about how exciting social media is, but I was on CompuServe, man. And we were social before social, and now people are taking the word and they're modifying it. Like there's, I don't know if you've heard the term blurred. Blurred's
No.
Black Nerd.
Oh, yes, I have.
Yeah. There's websites like Planet Blurred and.
Yeah. What's the guy from Community called himself a blurred?
Yeah. What's his name? Yeah. The guy from Community, who is Childish Gambino.
Danny Glover?
Yeah.
What's his
Donald Glover. Danny Glover.
That's it. That's the actor.
Yes. Donald Glover, who also has an album out, Childish Gambino. Right. And that's a way of saying that that's cool. And then you have, I think, people like CeeLo who choose to dress a certain way. And it's like, wait a second, I can be popular and interesting and well-spoken and a geek and into software and into gadgets and widgets and all of those things. And that's okay.
Yeah. I hope it's okay.
I think it's deeply okay. So do you feel like you are living on both sides of reality? Sometimes I feel like I'm categorized as a computer person. Like I'll go to a party, I'll meet someone and we'll be chatting and then they'll go, oh, you're a computer person. And that either means we're going to be like friends for life because they're a computer person too, or this conversation is over because I'm not a computer person.
That's strange. I couldn't imagine that happening.
Where you talk
about where you talk about your profession and, well, with me as a model, that happens sometimes where people feel uncomfortable after I mention the fact that I'm a model.
So you're seeing that as that profession, that aspect of your personality is the, I don't want to say turn off, but I want to imposing. Like you meet someone,
it's definitely not necessarily a turn off. Sometimes it's a turn on, but it always takes precedence over everything about me with strangers. Often, as soon as they find that out, their opinion's made up. And
you said it much better than I did. That's exactly right. The identity, that label, model for you is the thing that someone will notice when they meet you or they chat with you or you talk to them, and then you say, "Oh, I'm a model. I'm paid to be attractive and to do these things." Well, as a software person, when I meet someone and they go, "Oh, you work for Microsoft," or "Oh, you're a software guy," there's like, they immediately, you can see where they almost kind of put you in a box. Their faces change, their posture changed, and now they're like, "Oh, I got you figured out.
I see.
You're a model, or you're a computer guy." Yeah, yes. I don't really know anything about computers, or I don't really know anything about modeling. You could be put into two different boxes. Like if you just you should try this sometime. Lead with the software engineer thing.
Yeah.
And as you meet people who aren't technical, see how their posture and their style changes around you. It's interesting. I feel in talking to non-technical people, like in my neighborhood here, that if I lead with being a computer person, that they suddenly like have very little to talk about. Which seems like it's very similar with you with the modeling. Like if you say I'm a model, like, gosh, well, I don't have a passport.
People, when you tell someone, I don't think most people probably don't know fashion models or don't run into them in their day-to-day lives. So they normally have questions for me. They're often intrigued, but sometimes you don't always want to talk about your living, your livelihood in a way that sensationalizes it, especially.
Is that what they usually want to do? I mean, I know that when people talk to me about software, they think that we make piles of money and we know everything about every kind of computer.
Yeah. Well, they want to know what kind of clothes I get for free and where I've traveled and who I know and all this. And I'm a human being. I'm a pretty normal person. But it's not something I necessarily feel the need to talk about with strangers.
Yeah, I hear you. Let's talk about the app as we end here.
Sure.
So you've got a couple. You have the one app now, and you're working on a second app. What kinds of features you're doing iOS apps, right? So are these universal apps, iPhone and iPad?
I have actually two apps currently on the App Store.
Okay.
The first one is a universal app.